Hey y'all, so in today's video I'm going to be doing, I guess this is a part 2 to one of my previous videos where I have showed you how to make nail stickers. These ones are going to be vinyl cut nail stickers. So in order to do this, of course, you need some kind of laptop, your computer. You can even do it from your phone, and you also of course need a Cricut machine to do this. So to start off, the first thing you want to do is select an image to cut. Now, when it comes to images, the most important thing when you're doing vinyl cutting is you want one solid color. Nothing with shading, nothing with multiple colors, nothing transparent, no outlines, just one solid color. So we're going to go right into Safari, and we're going to look up some images. Now, I have downloaded already some images, but I'm just going to show you guys how I do it. So you go to Safari, whatever web browser you use, and I typed in ghost face, and that's just the scream little ghost face. And what I'm looking for is basically just his face. Another thing you can do, see how it's like bringing up all of this? We want like the clip art. So I'm going to put in ghost face, clip art. And here we go. So now it's bringing up more of the images that we need. So this is what I'm looking for, but look at this image. See how it has the outline? Well, we don't want that. We want just the face. Now, if I was to put this in my Cricut and try to cut this, it's gonna take out all of this, which is his face, because that's transparent. It's going to take all of that out. So we want something solid. So let's keep looking. You can do stuff like this, but just know that it's going to be harder to weed. And when I say weed, that means removing all of the extra vinyl from what you've already cut. So that can be a nightmare, y'all. So you want to just stay away from stuff like that. So still looking. I've already downloaded one. Let's see if I can find it. And sometimes you just have to define your search more. So I'm going to put in scream ghost face clip art. Okay, let's see what this produced. Now see this is the image that I need, but look how that is transparent. So that's only going to give me the outline. So this is perfect. This is all just one solid color, one image. That is what you want when you're looking to cut something. So I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to right click it. On my Mac, all you do is double click and then hit save to image. So once I have that saved, I'm going to come out of here and I'm going to go into Cricut Design Space. And from here, you would come down here to upload, and then upload image, browse. And now it's going to pull up your files on your computer. And I know I added that to my downloads, so I'm going to go to downloads, and I'm going to just search for that image that I downloaded. So here it is. I'm going to click it and then hit open. Now, once it comes to this screen, I always click complex. So I'm going to click complex and then click continue. And then I'm going to come up here to my arrows. This is going to zoom it in and out so I can see the whole image. Now, like I said, this is what I want. So if I preview it right down here, it's going to show me what the Cricut reads. So as of now, all it sees is just one flat blank image. So I'm going to come out of there. Up here is the tools that you're going to use when you get to this screen. So this one, this is a erase tool, and it pretty much will do a wide area. This is another erase tool, and this one allows you to adjust the size of the cursor so you can determine exactly how much you want to erase. See, I made it small, and then if I bring it up here, it'll make my little cursor bigger, and that will allow me to erase more. So that just makes it more, if you need to really get exact and get in there and take out little or something big. And then you have a crop selection too. So I'm going to go to this first one, and I'm going to come down here and hit advanced options, and I'm not going to touch this, but I'm going to come down here to the color tolerance, and I'm going to turn it up. So what that is going to do is just make it to where it really reads this image and it takes out all of the background without leaving any little bits behind. So I have 100 selected. Now I'm going to come to the background with my cursor and just click it. And see what that did? It just made all of that transparent. Now if I come down to preview, it's only showing the outline. So I'm going to click hide preview, and what you have to do, you notice how all of that is still the same? You have to go in there and make that transparent too. So I'm just taking my cursor and I'm clicking that and making all of that transparent. You always want to make sure that you're getting everything. So before I continue, I always click preview just to see what I have. So this is what is going to be cut. So I'm going to go in and press continue, and I'm going to click cut image and then upload. Now there is, I believe, you can only upload 12 images here. You can keep uploading, but then it'll replace, you know, the new one with another one. So if you don't go over 12, you're fine. But what I'm going to do now is that image that I uploaded, I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to click add to canvas. Okay, now that brings your image in. Down here is another zoom out and zoom in feature. You always want to utilize that because you want to make sure that you're looking at the whole image. Now the first thing that I do is I kind of just bring it down to size so I can see what I'm working with. Now, like I said, I've already downloaded some images, so I'm going to go to that project. And I just clicked up here by my projects, and then I'm going to click that project and open that canvas. I'm going to hit replace. Okay, so here are all of my images that I have downloaded, and these are the ones that I want to cut. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see which ones I've chose. Here's my ghost face, and then here are the Jason face. I have the Jack skeleton. I have the Boo words, and these ones I am not sure if they will cut correctly. I have noticed that when you're trying to cut out words, like a whole word, if it's too small, sometimes it's just hard for the Cricut to read, so it gives you a not so good cut. So I'm still going to try it though. I want to see if it works. And the drips, those two, you kind of just never know. Some images will cut right and some images won't, but I always still try. Now I'm going to kind of show you again what you would do. So first you would tag your image, hit add to canvas. And like I said, the first thing I do is resize it. See how it came in really big? So most images do that. So I'm going to bring it down to size. And typically for nail stickers, I find that starting at 0.3 to 0.4 and going a little bit up from there is a good place to start when it comes to nail stickers. Now this is a big image, so it all depends on that type of image. If it's a bigger image, then sometimes it's going to be above the 0.4 or the 0.5. But the thing with that though, you always want to do a test print. Never go in and add your images and then go straight into cutting it with your Cricut, because you don't know what you're going to get. Even though it looks this way on the screen, that does not mean when you cut it out it's going to be what you need to fit the nail. So what I do when I'm here at this screen, I always make my sizes. Like, I'll start with an estimate. So for this one, I'll start with, let's see, what do I have this one at? Okay, so I have this one at 0.4. So if I have this one at 0.4, I'm going to make another one that's a little bit bigger. I like to do that because I want to have options between a smaller image and a bigger image, because of course, you know, sometimes you have smaller nails and then sometimes you have people with longer and bigger nails, so you want to be able to accommodate both of those. So I always try to do 2 images. So I have this one at 0.4 and then this one at 0.5. So that's pretty much what I start out with. I will take every image and duplicate it and then make one big and one small. Now, once I have that done, and really I already know pretty much about this one, so I'm just going to take this one out. But for all of these, you see I have 2 different sizes. So now what I'm going to do is, in order for me to test print this, I have to turn these into print and cuts. So I'm going to take my cursor, hold it down, and I'm going to drag across all of those images. Now you control whether it's going to be a basic cut. A basic cut is when you just cut it with your Cricut and you're going to use Final. And then print and cut is what I previously showed you. That is where you send it through your printer and then you cut it on the Cricut afterwards. So I want this to be print and cut for now, so I can check the sizes when they print out. So right here is where you control all of that under operation. This is basic cut. Now when you add your images in, you clicked basic cut. So that's why these will show up basic cut. But we want to change that because we want to print them out and see what sizes they are. So I'm going to come down here to standard, and that's going to change these to print and cut. So the next thing I'm going to do after I have all that done, I'm going to come over here to make it. And it's going to take me over here to this screen, and it's going to show me exactly how it's going to print out. And I'm not worried about how it prints out. I just want to see it printed out. So I'm going to hit continue, and then I'm going to hit send to printer. And then you choose whatever printer you have. I'm going to choose my Canon, and I'm going to take off add bleed. Now if I was doing print and cut, I would want that extra security around the stickers, but we're not going to do that. So you're going to make sure that you have that toggled off, and then you're just going to hit print. So after you print out your stickers, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit cancel, because this was just to see how it printed. I'm going to hit yes, I'm sure I want to cancel. From here I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to come back to my canvas. So I have my print out here, and this is what I mean. This is going to show me exactly the sizes it's going to print out. So if I'm looking at this, and this is the first one that I'm going to look at, this looks like I feel like I want it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to come over here to my screen. I'm going to click that image, and I'm just going to make it just a little bit smaller. So I went from 0.4 to 0.379. Now let's look at the other ones. Okay, so this one, the Jason face, I'm looking at these 2 sizes, and I think they're pretty good. I think this could possibly fit on a large nail, and I think this one could fit on a small nail. But what I'm going to do is add something in between those sizes, just so I can kind of have, you know, a little buffer for me. So my smallest one is 0.3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit duplicate, and I'm going to make that one just So this one's 0.3. Let's see what this one is, 0.4. So I'll go up to 4.3. So that looks like that's right in the middle of those images. Yep, 3, 4, 4, 3, 4, 9. Okay, so that one's good. Okay, now these butterfly skulls, this is another one that I'm not sure how it's going to cut, but these sizes look good, so I'm not gonna do anything with that. He looks like he could be smaller, so let's make him smaller. So he's at 0.6, so let's take him down all the way to 0.39. All right. I think the drips look good. Now the boo words, let's make them smaller. So I'm really gonna just take off this big one and just make this one a little bit smaller. So 0.315. And now these skeleton hands, this one is way too big, first of all. This one I could possibly use as my big one, and then I'll make another one smaller. Now that I have all of my sizes done, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much separate these, because I'm not going to cut these all in the same color. Now the drips, I know for sure I wanted to do these red, but I looked and I didn't have any red vinyl, so I'm going to just do these in pink, but just pretend that it's red, okay? Because that's what I'm eventually going to do. This mask face I want to be black, so I'm going to have him over here. Okay, and I think the butterflies I'll do black also. So everything that's going to be black, I'm going to group. Let's do the boo one in black also. Now these ones I'm going to do white. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make multiple images. So I'm going to go over all the images with my cursor, and that groups them. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to hit duplicate. And I'm going to drag these over here. Okay, now let me take a look at it. So all these, yes, I want black, pink, and then these are white. So yes, that's correct. Okay, now remember we selected these to be print and cut so we can check the sizes. So first thing I need to do is select everything. Let's see, let me zoom out. So I'm going to select all of these. Then I'm going to come up here under operation and I'm going to hit undercut basic. So those are going to turn those all to a basic cut. So the reason why I'm separating these into sections, of course, because I said I'm not going to cut them all in the same color, but when I come in and I apply my different colored vinyl, I'm leaving space here so it gives me room to do that. You don't want to have to be overlapping or doing anything like that. So that's why you see me leaving a big space in between all of these. Okay, so now that I have them all grouped where I need them to be, the next thing you want to do is you want to select all of them and you want to make sure you group them and then attach them. So that is going to keep them in this same position. It won't move it out of these rows that you have made. Okay, so once you have that done, you're going to come to make it. This is your mat. This is what you're going to put your vinyl on. So this is where you'll see where to exactly line up your vinyl. So it's going to be in the position that you made on the previous page, but it's going to show you the numbers to which you need to apply that vinyl. This is where I'm going to leave it, and then I'm going to bring in my mat and I'm going to layer my vinyl according to this. Okay, so this is my mat. Your Cricut comes with a mat, and I'm going to get this ready. Now this is called a brayer. This is what you're going to use to press the vinyl into the mat. And then here I have a cutter. This is good for cutting the vinyl on your mat. And then this is my weeding tool. So when I get done cutting these, this is what I'm going to use that extra vinyl off. Okay, so now looking at my screen, the first one, let me see if I can bring this in so you can see exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so you see how my first section comes from 4 inches to a little bit like 2.5, almost 3. I'm going to do about, I'm going to do barely up to the 3. So I'm going to go 4 over and 3 down with my white. So I'm going to take my white vinyl, and like I said, I'm going to place it down to the 4. So I'm going to cut right there. And you don't want to waste. That's why I go ahead and cut off any extra that I don't need. And then looking at my screen, I'm going to go like about 2.5, a little bit over 3. Well, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to turn it just so I can cut it right. Okay, so that's my first piece. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my brayer, and this is when you really press that vinyl in. Sometimes your mats can get unsticky. That's what's going on up here on this one, but I will get it to stick. And this is the position. This is how you want your vinyl. You want it just like you have made it on your screen. So all I have to do now is run this through my machine. Set up, the next screen will be here. So once you get your Cricut machine, you'll have to do a lot of test cut. So for instance, I'm using vinyl. So beforehand, I went through and I tested out some cuts to see what pressure cut my vinyl the best. So this is a preset that I've already made. So this is the one that I'm going to use. So I have my Cricut machine set to custom. I'm going to click that preset. I have my mat loaded. So from the machine, it's going to do that, and you just press that and it'll start cutting. This can be a little tricky, like I said, especially when you have all of these different little cuts. You want to be very careful when you weed this and take all this extra vinyl off. So first thing I'm going to do is just get my squeegee and kind of rub the images in. And see that all those little cuts, some of that vinyl is already coming off. And here too, I can see where it kind of lifted up. So sometimes, like I said, you get good cuts and sometimes you don't. So I'm just going to be careful and kind of rub this in. So to take this off, I just take my weeding tool and I'm going to start at the edge and I'm going to lift up the vinyl from the backing of the paper. Now once I have that, I'm just going to slowly start lifting this back. And then if you get one that doesn't want to come upright, just kind of stick it and then press it down and then pull back. And the smaller the images, the smaller it sometimes has a hard time cutting. So I'm just being very careful. Okay, so that one didn't do so bad. Looks like we got some good cuts. Now let's see about these drips. I wasn't so sure about these ones. So same thing, I'm going to lift up at the corner and just pull back. Okay, not bad. Oh, not bad at all. Look at there. I was wrong, the drips did good. I'm gonna get me some red vinyl and get me some red drips. Now these were the butterflies. I really didn't think these were going to cut. And so far, not too bad. Now this is just the first part of weeding these stickers. Let's see how the hands did. Oh, they didn't do good at all. Look at that, because it cut them individually. Now what you can do is in your Cricut design space, you can flatten an image and it'll make it whole, so it'll just be one whole cut instead of cutting these all separately. And that's what it did. So it's not giving me a good little weed there. And I'm not going to even bother with it because, like I said, it's no big deal. We just won't have little skeleton hands. I bet if I made them bigger, they would do, because you see how those big ones did with no problem, but it's just those small ones. And I could really take my time and be very tedious and kind of, you know, press this in and try to get every single last one of them out, but I'm not. I ain't got time. I'll just try to make them again another day. And some of these worked. I could use some of them. Well, no, I don't think I'll be able to use that. Okay, and then the words. I really don't have faith in the words either. Oh, that one came out good. There we go. So not bad. So that's the first part of weeding. Now you have to come in and all these little cutouts, you have to weed that out. This is the not the fun part at all. And this is a little nail polish holder, and I use that to put my little extra scraps in. And you just go through and weed all this out. Do with it. And all it takes is just testing and figuring out what works for you. Sometimes it's not always going to come out perfect, but you will get you some good stickers out of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in another video. Bye.